That came up because he was talking about Botox, right, with Nicole Kidman.
Yep. Yeah, he was talking about Botox and how what was it? It was that it made you less social, right? Like he wasn't saying it was necessarily to be depressed. It just made you like less social and less related because you were less emotional with your face. Which I
Harder.
could see. I mean, I could totally get behind that. Like, have you ever? I mean, I guess you don't really do stuff like this, but there's definitely times where almost like I'm trying to trick myself into like getting in a better mood or being like more on it. So it's like you like get a little smile. You try to like talk to people like with like a crazy wide grin. I guess we have masks now, so it doesn't matter as much. But
Yeah.
just even that, like using that inflection will kind of trick yourself. All right, I'm a little more positive. All right, I was a little more silly and
So you'll
having
like
fun with
put,
that.
you said you put a smile on your face, not when you're happy.
Yeah.
You just do it kind of out of the blue.
Well, it's like if I maybe like because sometimes like, I'm not down, but sometimes like I have to be on, like I have to be like in the mode and like on, and sometimes you're just not, like you're just kind of like doing your thing, like whatever, and you're just like all right, it's in here mode, but you're not like crazy motivated and excited because it's some excitement you're trying to get.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like yeah, it's like I'll sit there, smile for a second, like kind of think, get a little sway, a little shimmy, try to get myself going.
Yeah, yeah. So what made you want to get into that? What started that? Just kind of smiling out of nowhere.
Uh, well, I mean, the smile thing's pretty common. They like because it sells stuff. So in sales, they a lot of times they'll put a mirror at your room. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, at your desk or wherever, and they literally will put the sign up that says "Smile on the phone," and you're literally supposed to look at yourself on the phone and smile. Uh, and I just kind of some expansions on that, and just other things I've learned from like myself when I've been in like harder situations. Like I think about like punishments in football and things like that. It's like my mindset was always just like, let's try to have a good time with it. It's like let's loosen up.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you're still taking it seriously, but mentally it's like, all right, like loosen up. It'll be fine.
So it's all about the mindset, is what you're saying.
Yeah, some of it. I mean, it's all just trying to get into a certain state.
But if you put a smile on your face, it's like you said earlier, you kind of trick yourself into
Yep.
being happy. If you're maybe sad or something, or you're shy, that might work. And it is interesting you said that. Yeah, that's exactly what they were talking about. Because with Nicole Kidman, she got the Botox, and she couldn't. They were talking about her eyebrows and how they were arched, but he was saying how there were
Yeah.
those studies, right? You remember he was talking about the studies of people who got Botox. You remember those? And then they were talking about how
Yep.
they find that the people who get the Botox, their depression is mostly alleviated, but also their ability to empathize with people is decreases dramatically. And I thought it was real interesting because he said that it's because when we empathize, we're mirroring the other person. So say someone's sad, right? If you're not able to frown by his logic, if what he's saying is correct, if you're not able to frown, then you won't be able to empathize and know how they're feeling. So with
Yeah.
the Botox, that makes total sense. And if you're always smiling, I guess that'd make you happier. Maybe that'd help treat depression a little bit. Just putting a smile on your face, something simple like that. Who would have thought it?
Yeah. No, definitely. Definitely. What are kind of your takeaways from that chapter? Some of the things that resonated with you.
Whew, dude, there was a lot. There's there was a lot in this chapter. I thought the whole Botox. I thought the whole the body impacts the mind. I thought that was huge. Like, I'm happy you got me reading The Rise of Superman again, right? Because I read it before. And
Yeah.
when I was doing it, I was just using my mind. I was like, oh, I'll get in this flow state, if I just meditate and I just think. And it was weird because I'd kind of get it, but then it'd like wear off really quick. And when it wore off, it's like I was super tired. There was no motivation to do anything. And it was like the opposite of what you wanted. But then he got me reading it again. And it said, hey, you got to use your body. That's why these action adventure sports athletes, which he talked about in this book again, because they use their
Yeah.
body so much. Use that. You couple that with your mind, and you have much better problem solving. And that's why martial arts, balance training, yoga, Um, those action adventure sports, stretching. What else did he say? You said working out, right? You said that earlier about the treadmill.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, just anything, just activity in general. Like when he was talking about the depression, it's just like, obviously, like you can, like, that's more of an extreme and more like pointed way to use it. But even just in the general sense, just a mild amount of activity can really just improve your mood or make your life better. And then expanding on that, like strategic and specific stuff can even more so improve your life.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, it's incredible how it seems so small, just to use your body, but I mean, it has such a huge impact on you. So that was cool, and that was a cool part about that first part of it. Then he was talking about the AI. You remember what was that AI's name? Her name was Ellie.
Oh, yeah, Ellie or whatever. Yeah, the I thought the interesting fact was when he's saying that people are more comfortable talking to her. I was like, that's probably true.
What
Like
do you thought?
especially some of those kind of dudes.
So more comfortable talking to her.
Yeah, because so it was specifically like people in the military that they were talking to.
Mhm.
And I mean, every time I've not every time, but a lot of times I've talked to dudes in the military. I mean, they like, you know, like sometimes they make it out like they don't see anything, and that like there's some guys that don't, but there's plenty of guys that do, and the ones that do, I mean, it's like when you talk to them, I mean, they're a little different. Like you, if someone you may have known for years, but you kind of get them talking about it, and you can just see this like change over. I mean, everybody's a little different, but
Yeah.
it's definitely impacts you greatly. So I thought it was really good to proactively do it, and if it's something that guys are actually willing to open up with, then
Mhm.
it totally works. Because I think that most of the psychological stuff, I mean, obviously there's deeper psychology and other things you can do, but I
Yeah.
think just some of the basics. It's simple questions. It's just simply just you trying to work through your own stuff. It's not reinventing the wheel.
Yeah. So you're talking about when they're trying to solve for PTSD, those guys in the army, because
Yeah.
they're mostly quiet and they don't talk about that stuff. So when you say,
Yeah, like I guess we're trying to sift through them.
yeah,
Like
when
this is like at least how I heard it. It was more of a tool to figure out who has it, and if you actually have it, like get them actual help. But this was kind of like, all right, like get them talking some of the issues, some of the things. Hopefully, kind of prevent that, but then also find someone that is
yeah, and that's what Ellie
going
did,
through it.
the AI.
Yeah, at least that's how what I got from it.
Yeah. So what I thought was great about that was because that was exactly right, right. So the people, they found that they're more willing to tell the AI their deepest, darkest secrets, but a person, an actual human psychologist, they wouldn't do that for, and they thought that's strange. But the way Jamie Wheal and Stephen Kotler analyzed it is they put it kind of in the terms of the flow, right? Because what was the first part of their stir method? Selflessness, right? Selflessness. When you get in flow, you kind of step away from your ego, and
Yeah,
AI doesn't have an ego. It's just a computer, right? So it's not judging you. A person, regardless of how well trained they are, to be a psychologist, he said in the book, they're going to judge you, and
yeah,
even if they don't, you're going to think they do because they're a person. So, in a way, that's probably why they trust the AI more. And how that's incredible. And the reason they probably talked about it is because of selflessness, because it's basically saying that you're able to work through problems if you're not dealing with an ego. So if you're able to step out of
yeah,
your own ego, step out of your own self, then maybe it's possible to kind of, talk to yourself, be a therapist for yourself, and solve these
yep,
problems just by stepping away. That was
yeah.
my,
No, I mean, yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I mean, it's the same reason why, you can solve a million people's problems for them in 2 seconds and they can't see the answer themselves. Or he's talking about the jar thing or whatever, right? Like he's saying that
oh
like you
yeah,
can't,
I like that. I
yeah,
like
it's like you can't read the label of a jar from inside.
mm, you got to get on the outside.
Yeah,
I like
gotta
the
go on the
quotes
outside.
they put in there. I thought they were pretty good.
Huh?
I said I like the quotes that they put at the beginning and the end of the chapters.
Yeah.